Hello and welcome to Genevora's running commentary number 25. I'm going to talk about breathing today and what bits of our body are moving when we breathe and when we sing, and what's the most efficient way to go about it. There's a lot of discussion about whether we should focus the attention on the movement of the ribs or on the movement of the abdomen. What is the most efficient and what do the best singers do? Well, the first thing to notice, if you look at films of really, really good singers, is that lots of singers have different ways of using their bodies. And actually, they're all singing pretty well. So we can have guidelines, but absolute rules are not necessary because people can do it in all sorts of different ways. There's more than one way to get air into your body, and there's more than one way to get the air out of your body. What are we aiming to do when we're singing? We're aiming to have a managed flow of air through the phrase. And in order to do that, we're dealing with differing air pressure as we go from beginning to end, and we're dealing with differing air pressure as we sing different consonants, different vowels, different pitches. So it's a constantly changing environment in which to manage that stream of air. So we've got to find the bit of the body that does that best. And you can try breathing primarily with your ribs and just feel an expansion of the ribs and your tummy doesn't move at all. Or you can keep your ribs completely still and breathe just with an expansion of the tummy and feel that moving. And then you can try a bit of both. What do we know from science, from research? Well, we know that the ribs, when they're expanded, the intercostal muscles are holding them in place. Now they have pressure receptors and they respond to the pressure levels in the lungs and have very, very subtle ways of telling the body how to manage that pressure. They work most efficiently when the ribs are more expanded. So we're going to manage those pressure levels more efficiently when we have slightly expanded ribs than when we have collapsed ribs. The other thing that the research tells us is that when we have expanded ribs and we use that rib movement to get the air out of our lungs, a little movement gets a load of air out. Much greater pressure differential. Whereas using the movement of the tummy, pulling the abdomen in slightly, is more subtle. So from that, we can surmise that when we breathe in, we want everything to expand gently. And then as we sing, we need to keep a sense of the ribs staying open and expanded whilst the abdomen gently moves in, and then the ribs follow on. What does that feel like? We need it to feel gentle and soft and not held. So there's no sense of the ribs pushing out and holding out. There's no sense of the tummy pulling in and gripping. Everything happening in a soft and balanced way. And one way we can ensure that is to wiggle everything and move in the hips. And I've talked about movement before, and I will talk about movement again. Movement is the best way to balance the body. So keep things soft and gentle and easy, and just bear in mind that slight difference in relationship between the ribs and the abdomen.